Hello and welcome to your favorite motorcycle content channel. I am your host, Gnarly Pubes, don't be rude, Yammie Noob. Today I have a top 10 list of the cheapest used motorcycles you can find. Geographic regions may alter the price, but for the most part, if you're looking for a bike now, as in right the F now, these 10 bikes can be had if you have cash in hand. I'll put in 3 stipulations for bikes to make this list. Number 1, bikes can't cost more than $4,000. Once you breach the $3,000 price point, bikes can seem out of reach for some. You can buy decent cars in the US for $3,000, some really good furniture, or even piss off your spouse and buy a motorcycle. Number 2, they have to be used with clean titles. You can definitely buy a wrecked R1 for pennies on the dollar, a Turbo Busa with a salvage title, or even a 2019 Ducati Panigale with no title for dirt cheap. We're not looking at these bikes. They have to be from a private seller or a dealership with a clean title. No lien, no theft report, no auctions. You really don't want to get mixed up with a no title, branded title, or salvage title bikes. If you're an expert with these bikes, I salute you, but for beginners, do not get involved with that. Number 3, they have to be ready to ride. We're not looking at your buddy's project bike that hasn't moved in a couple years, nor the Craigslist special involving completely disassembled bikes with unmotivated owners. You're not going to be piecing together your bike with badly labeled boxes, you're going to be riding it. If a bike has any mechanical issues, we're not considering those as well. Alright, now let's get into it because you've mentioned our intros are too long. Number 1, Ninja 250s, 300s, and 400s. What makes the Kawasaki Ninja 250, 300, or even 400 such cheap bikes? It's the purpose. As a beginner bike and a commuter's favorite, the Kawi 250, 300s, and 400s are reliable and inexpensive to maintain. There isn't a sharp forward angle for the rider, and it is a lightweight and nimble bike. Prices of the Ninja series of motorcycles range from about $500 for older 250s, seriously, I've seen them going for like $600 that will run, to roughly $4,000 for very lightly used or even new 400s. At our $3,000 limit, there's still quite a selection of any of the 3 engine sizes available for the Ninja. At $3,000, expect lightly used or even brand new if it's a dealer leftover with low miles and is in good condition. The cheaper the price, the more mileage, scratches, and age of the bike. Although between you and me, small displacement Ninjas are wretched and I wouldn't be caught dead on one. Unless we do one for our beginner bike giveaway series and my hand is forced to get one, and I pray to Rossi that day never comes, but it might. Number 2, the Honda Rebel. If the sport bike look isn't your thing, consider the Honda Rebel. With engine sizes in the last years from 250, 300, and 500, the Rebel is a favorite amongst new and seasoned riders alike. With a price range in the high hundreds to a couple grand, who can resist? With high reliability, you really can't go wrong. The Rebel uses the same engine as in the Nighthawk, the CB300 and 250s, and the CBR 500. It's basically all interchangeable in Honda's lineup, and the parts are readily available. You got saddlebags, bobber conversions, and other accessories can be found almost anywhere. The Rebel's a great beginner bike because it's a cruiser without the tremendous weight. Honda Rebels are also the de facto MSF beginner bikes given their low power output and low weight, so you've probably schlepped around on one and you didn't even realize it. Number 3, the Suzuki DRZ 400. For anyone that's been on dirt bikes and wants something similar, the DRZ 400 is a great and tried and true dual sport platform. With some variations including the Supermoto, this bike can be had for roughly $2,500 if you look hard enough. With a brand new price from between $6,800 to $7,400, the DRZ 400 drops in price and makes it one of the best cheap bikes to purchase. It also helps that Suzuki's been building them the exact same way for the last like 20 years, so you're really not going to struggle if you try to buy a 2015 model versus a 1995 model. With minimal component and a cult-like aftermarket following, there shouldn't be any hesitation to buy an older model with higher mileage. The bikes are durable, versatile, and will be fun in ways that other cheap bikes won't be. However, they are carbureted, so if that's going to be a deal breaker for you, take a good look at that. Although DRZ 400s and other popular dual sports can be hard to come by in certain markets as used motorcycles. Here in Texas, where it's apparently the land of the Supermoto, used WR250s and DRZ 400s are really rare to find when they're used, and they will usually come with a price premium because odds are people know you really want one. Number 4, the Big 4 600cc class. You don't need $12,000 and a t-shirt to begin squidding now. You can find a decent and cheap 600 made by the Big 4, Honda, Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Yamaha, for roughly $2 to $3 grand. The best years to search will be between 2001 and 2009. Expect higher mileage, aftermarket fairings, and even some performance mods you may not like. You might have deleted mirrors, obnoxiously loud slip-ons, or even terrible paint jobs. They're pretty common. But in the end, it's a 600 that you can squid on. Working on these bikes is pretty easy and parts are literally everywhere and they're kind of interchangeable. It seems that the older the Japanese sport bike is, the more common the parts are online. Check Facebook groups for part outs, and you can even build a bike for about the same price as you can buy one if you're up to the challenge. Wouldn't recommend that for beginners though. For entry-level track day fun or just having classic inline 4-cylinder sounds, this is your bet. I've seen $3,000 Yamaha R6s and ZX6Rs in relatively good shape on Craigslist, but be warned, this is a class of bike that will definitely have seen some abuse in the saddle. Number 5, and this is a bit of a dark horse, HYOSUNG motorcycles. I kind of felt reluctant to put these bikes on the list, but they are definitely cheap, more so in used form too. We actually have a patron who picked up a HYOSUNG 650 for like $3,400 brand spanking new. That's a great deal. HYOSUNG is a Korean manufacturer of motorcycles trying to get their foot in the door and started in the US market. They have a wide array of 250cc bikes, some similar to the Ninja 250, others bear similarity to the Rebel 250 and the Suzuki SV 650. They're definitely not the cream of the crop, but if you need two wheels at a very minimal cost, HYOSUNG could be the way for you. Cost of the bikes new are roughly $2,500 for some leftover model years. You could probably trade a ride on an R1 and a couple cigarettes for someone's HYOSUNG. Just kidding. Wait, I'm not. Besides the cheap price, a couple hundred to maybe $1,500, owners report that they're bulkier compared to other 250s and lack in quality and appearance. Buyer beware, because HYOSUNGs are not in high demand. Most sellers are pushing them to get rid of them and not for the money. In turn, you might have problems selling yours quickly when the time comes. Now, before we check out the back half of this list, I've got to let you know that while these bikes are cheap, they're certainly not free. But if you are interested in the chance to win a free motorcycle, why don't you hit the links below to our Patreon page to find out more about our beginner bike giveaway series. We've got a brand new Yamaha R3 and Suzuki SV650 ready to be given away in mid-October, and rumor has it we're doing 3, maybe even 4 more bikes later this year. So hit those links, learn how you can get started and win the Yamaha R3 and Suzuki SV650. No purchase necessary. Number 6, the Yamaha FZ6. Coming in at number 6 is the Yamaha FZ6, the predecessor to the FZ07. This Yamaha is worth its weight in gold. For an inline 4 naked bike that's not a super sport, this thing moves. With a price point in the $2,500 to $3,000 range, these things have great value. Since it's a 600cc engine, it's going to be more powerful than your 250s and 300s, but it also touts an upright seating position and minimal fairings in case of a tip over or a drop. These are some of the best beginner bikes around if you're looking for an alternative to an SV650, but you just want a little bit more oomph and you think you can be responsible. There could even be a second bike for those conservative with the throttle use. Number 7, the Yamaha VSTAR. Making its way to the number 7 spot is another Yamaha. It's the VSTAR line of bikes. All displacements are amazing value for those looking to ride a cruiser. Experience isn't a factor here because riders with years of experience purchase these bikes as well. If you've been a cruiser rider for years and are looking to get back into motorcycling, the VSTAR is probably going to be on the top of your list. With displacements higher than the Honda Rebel, this model is going to fit any rider looking for the cruiser look. Now, number 7 is a bit controversial, but we're going to put it up here. It's the BUELL Blast. Now, I've been pretty unfair to the BUELL Blast, but you wanted cheap, and we found you cheap. The BUELL Blast is a bike that actually runs, had the parent company of Harley-Davidson, and was designed as a beginner bike. It's got a 492cc single-cylinder engine. The Blast puts out 34 horsepower and 30 foot-pounds of torque. It's not the fastest, but the fairings were actually made from Surlyn, which is a hard plastic. This bike was intended for beginners and can withstand drops. Prices of the Blast range from $500 to $3,000. An average price would probably be about $1,500 with only a couple thousand miles on it. You heard that right. These things are a literal blast for someone that wants a bike and just needs the practice. Their value flatlines, and really their only purpose is to serve to gain newbies experience. It is what it is, and it comes down to being on 2 wheels for the season or walking. Which would you choose? Knocking any motorcycle when you don't have one is the worst way to look at it. If you really want to get into riding but are super strapped for cash, consider the BUELL Blast. Damn, that almost rhymed. That should have been their catch line back in the day. They were made from 2000 to 2009 and are pretty common here in the States. Number 9. Older leader bikes. Somewhere out there, someone is watching this to figure out how to squid on a leader bike with a very tight budget. Well, you finally found it. Number 9 on our list are leader bikes for under $3,000. But how, Papa Yam, you might ask me? Age and mileage, that's how. If you're really wanting a leader bike and you won't accept no for an answer, either in terms of money or in terms of your experience, then you can look beyond our current decade of production and look for bikes with higher mileage. If there is a will, there is a way. In 2001, Suzuki introduced the GSX-R 1000, which started the leader bike wars. For roughly $3,000, you can own a piece of squid history and buy a used leader bike from the Big Four. Gixxer 1000s, R1s, CBR 1000s, and ZX10s are all listed on Craigslist for $3,000 and under, I guarantee it. The horsepower won't be the same as the 200 horsepower or so that current leader bikes put out, but these things are still respectable and will crush any 600, 750s, or 900s out there. Grab your t-shirt, your sneakers, your $3 cash, because your squidding dreams are about to come true. If you don't mind the dated looks of the early 2000s bikes, hey, they were cool back in the day, then these bikes are for you. If it really bothers you that much, you can actually update the fairings, lights, and other appearance to turn an older leader bike into something a bit more modern. As a disclaimer, I'm just being goofy and telling you to go squid on a leader bike. Don't go squid on a leader bike. Stay at GAT. Try to follow the rules. Do your best. That's all Papa Yam's asking for you. And the last bike on our list, number 10, it's none other than the Suzuki SV650. What'd you think we were gonna put? Now, number 10 or number 1 on the used top 10 bikes on our list today is the Suzuki SV650. It's the perfect bike for anyone balling on a budget. Seriously, if you're a new rider and you want to ride something, anything, but you feel that low maintenance, aftermarket support, and reliability are important, then an SV650 is right for you. If you're returning to the world of motorcycles and you need something that's going to work out for you, the SV650 is going to fit the bill. Anyone with any experience won't have any issues with this bike. Hell, I've owned and ridden tons of bikes, and I've currently got an SV650 right now in my stable as part of our giveaway series, and I love taking the thing out. It's a sweet bike. If you're going from a Turbo Busa to the SV650, well, you might have a few complaints, but then again, you're going to find another cheap Turbo Busa on Craigslist anyways. They might be older, even 10 years old, but they'll still have a low cost of maintenance and be worth every penny. Expect to pay under $2,000 for the older ones and $3,000 for the ones made in the last decade. The best part about the SV650 is how its value is going to hold as well. You could even probably ride one and sell it for the same amount, maybe even a little bit more than you paid for it, if you can kind of clean it up or make it look nicer too. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, remember to share it with a friend. It really goes a long way and helps us out. Don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with everything we're doing here. And of course, don't forget to hit up the links below to learn how you can win our giveaway bikes. Thanks again for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. See you later. Fact: in a room with just 23 people in it, there's a 50% chance 2 of them share a birthday. Goodbye.